Good evening. Once again, we are here to practice meditation, and tonight is a third night. We are going to focus on something new tonight. In the meantime, I would like to hear from you any feedbacks or any practice or any difficulties that you faced throughout this 1 week time. First week you were building an invisible toilet, and the second week you took away with the driving license, and with a few seconds of mindfulness. I wonder anybody would like to share or anything. We have eye, ear, and we have a tongue, we have a smelling, this nose, and then also come to contact with our body and the heat and warmness like that. If we look at closely, anything that you are thinking or anything that you come to contact with is the main root cause of our thoughts. When we see something, then we immediately recognize it, and then we put our visions and perceptions and then define and definition, and if that's pleasurable, we take it on. If that's unpleasurable, we try to push it harder away. Same thing with the hearings as well, sound. When we hear something, if that's a pleasant sound, then we try to want to more. If that's a not pleasant sound, then we want to push it away. So the whole day, from the day when we woke up in the morning until we go to sleep, these senses are constantly working, and these senses are taking control of whole our thoughts and emotions. We upset because we see something which we don't like, because we hear some sounds or we hear something that we don't like, or we become upset because we want it to happen in this way, but it's not happening. We don't want to hear something, but we are still hearing. Like that. There's so many things in our day, we want it to be this way, but it's not happening. It's going to happen that way. We don't want to hear this, but you are constantly hearing it. So these will always influencing our daily routine, and as a result of that, we have emotional fluctuation every moment. And that's why, suppose something happened now and we become upset and we engage with it so much. And in the meantime, in order to get away from it, what we will do, we go on something what we like to do, that please. And then we try to forget the initial. So there's a fluctuation. And still, if somebody asks you, how is your day? We do not think of a good ones, what we have experienced on that day, but we talk about that upset, that one upset. That one upset, we talk about it and we enlarge it, we elaborate it, and then the whole environment is like, that moment is so awful, so bad, like that. But we forgot the rest of other good moments, and we don't want to talk about it, and we just wipe it out. But in the back of our mind, what we are thinking is, we don't want this upset, but we want the good ones. But we don't think about it, but we think of the bad ones. So that's what practice of a meditation is, to guard these senses, to be aware of these senses and how it is coming. into us and how it is affecting us. I normally take a simile of a tree. When a tree stands firmly, in order to stand firmly, a tree takes quite a long time to get the roots inside on earth. And then it grows. As it grows, wind comes from different places, different directions. What this tree does, it just floats. It just floats. If wind is coming from here, it floats, but it stands firmly on the ground where it is. Wind comes from here, it just floats like this. So, like this. It's not resisting the wind, but let the wind go, flow, but not taking the wind with it. The very moment when you resist the wind, what happened? Tree breaks. It loses the branches, or maybe a full trunk, or maybe the tree, the wind will take even the roots away. And then that's how the tree falls. But in order to make this tree bigger, stronger, what it does, just moves all around. Whenever winds, whichever direction it comes, just moves. So I call it dance with the wind. Dance with the wind. It comes from here, bend this way, recognize it, let it go. Comes from here, this way, let it go. That's how the Kung Fu masters, Kung Fu came from. Using the skills of other person's energy and then let it flow, and using the same energy to beat it. So that's a technique of a Kung Fu, is simply to be flexible in those situations, and ability to float. Ability to float. So the wind is the trouble in our life. Any kinds of winds that we have comes, upsets. Somebody does something what we don't like, and somebody doesn't do what we want. These things is a wind. Problems, all the problems is like a wind. Stormy days. What we do just floats. And in the meantime, tree get its root inside on the ground with the help of the wind. If there is no wind, it cannot go inside deeper. And with the help of the wind, tree knows how to resist and how to be flexible. So all the troubles, all the problems that we face in our life, if we become mindful of it, we become stronger. We become firm and able to deal with every situation. No matter what is out there, it's just helping us. It's just supporting us. In a way, we thank them to make me feel I can deal with it. And with that, I'm growing. With that, I'm becoming stronger. If there is no wind, what happens? The tree doesn't know when the storm comes. It will just break. That's how it happens in our life. When we are not facing with the problems, day-to-day problems from early age, when the real problem comes, then we break down. So all the things is simply coming from our senses. That comes to contact with the senses and unable to understand this makes us in a vulnerable state. So think of the tree. And you, as a think of a tree, whenever problems comes, okay, that's fine. I recognize it. It's coming, and I will use it in a skillful way. And with that, you are not affected. Right? So, now we will do the little practice. So connect with your body, embracing, aware, Settling down, grounding yourself, being present here and now with no history, no background whatsoever, just you, yourself, fully aware of your body, presence here and now, leaving all your responsibilities aside. And gently bring that attention and spend few moments on the primary object, whether it is the breath or abdomen, whichever you have chosen to pay attention to. So let the mind settle down on it. So it's in breath and out breath, then just pay attention to the breath. When it is coming, aware that it is coming. When it is going, aware that it is going. So in breath and out breath, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And wisely investigating on the things that you have experienced today, and observing, acknowledging, noting, and let it go. As you think of any incidents, as you think of any problems, in this moment just observe, acknowledge, note, and let it go. Any distractions is simply because our senses are taking care of those distractions, even the sound that you hear. Rather than listening the sound, just hearing it as just hearing. Do not engage with that sound at all. Do not give any attention to it at all. As you realize that sound, observe, acknowledge, and let go, and back to the primary object, a home base, a primary object. So it doesn't matter whether it is sound that you are hearing or whether it is a thought that is bothering you. There's no difference at all. It is just another object, another story. Simply using the formula, observing, acknowledging, noting, and let it go. It's like a wind coming to disturb us in many different forms. As an object, or colors, or shapes, or different sounds, liking or disliking, pleasurable or unpleasurable, pleasant or unpleasant feelings. An ability to recognize them, simply observing, acknowledging, noting, and let it go. Swinging along with these, but not taking on board. So dancing with those distractions. In the meantime, extending our roots onto the ground firmly. And that's simply just bringing your mind back to the moment of this home base with the help of a home base. In breath and out breath. And don't worry that you cannot pay attention to all these activities. And do not think that I am not able to do it, or somebody is doing peacefully, calmly. Be trustworthy of yourself, and whatever is happening, simply be aware of that. And just establish firmly on the primary object, the home base, again and again, making it stronger, ability to pay attention to it more and more, ability to be with it more and more.
Breathing in, breathing out, rising, falling.
So, any feelings that we have, or any sensations that we experience, in fact, it is only for the temporarily. It comes and goes. It arises and then vanishes so quickly, every moment. But inability to understand that these feelings are constantly changing, what we normally do is we take it as pleasant or unpleasant, and we hold on to that feelings, and that's how it becomes longer and longer, and that feeling transforms into emotions, and then that emotions takes control of our thoughts and feelings further on, and that's how we suffer. So that's why the practice of a meditation, that anything that we come to contact or anything that we see, we hear, having understanding that it changes every now and then. It changing, constantly changing. If it is not changing, then we cannot take any other sensations or any feelings or any other activities at all. It's constantly changed, because see, our eye comes to contact with something, and immediately that generates the feelings of this and that. We recognize the shapes, we recognize the colors, and then we define I like and I dislike. And when we define, we grasp and we take it on, and that's how feelings become an emotion, and then emotion become a trouble in us. But the practice, when we know it, then this is just a change. It's like the simile is like when rain falls on the surface of the water, okay, that every drop of water creates a little bubble. And this bubble won't last long. It comes and then fades away. It generates, fades away. So each drop of water is like every time we are having contact with the outside world through our senses. And if we know that this is just for a temporarily, then we will not be grasping it. We will be able to let it be. It's okay. Fine. So it's simply you're swinging with it. Okay. You're not taking on board at all anything. Okay. And that's how you will be cleansing yourself. Okay. So think of a tree and a swing, and for all the feelings or sensations, think of a drop of water creating this bubble. And nobody can make you angry. Nobody can make you upset. Nobody can make you, feeling bad if you do not give your permission. Yeah? Your anger is not because them. You upset not because of them. You have given permission for their words. You have given permission for their action, and you have taken it as personal. So that's how you become angry. You become upset. But if you do not take it personally and you do not give any attention to it, it's just a word of nothing. Same word, if a person who you don't know is saying, does that make any sense to you? Does that make you upset? Does that make you feel angry? No. Why? Because you haven't given a permission and you haven't personalized it. But in the meantime, a person you don't like says the same word but different, in a different situation. What will happen? We take it on board. How dare? Yeah? How dare? And then we create further, and we bring all the past memories, probably 30 years old memories, or something had done, and then I remember you did this and I remember you did that. Who upset? We upset. Who win? A person who is trying to annoy you win. His intention or her intention is to make you upset, and you have given the permission for their words, for their action, and they win, and we will lose. But if we do not take at all, just to swing with it, well, that's fine. It's going to happen. Go. Okay. They upset that they cannot make you angry. They cannot make you upset. So, if you know how to swing with this, the art of the swinging, so dance with the wind, then doesn't make any difference to me at all. Doesn't matter what you are saying. Whatever happening is, it's okay. I do not give I do not give a damn any attention to it. It's your problem, not mine. Alright? So that's how we deal with the senses. When we hear something, it's fine. I do not take it. I give it to you back. So we have a story when the Buddha was sitting in one of the temples, and then a very angry man came and shouted and used all the words, bad words, shouted and shouted and shouted. Buddha just sat down and listened. When you are shouting alone, there is no response from other side. You have nothing to say in a few moments. In a few sentences later, you do not have anything to say because there is no response. So he just sat down and he just said, and after a few moments, he was run out of the words. He was run out of the words, and then I have been telling you of so much, and I have been saying so many bad words. Doesn't make any difference to you? And then the Buddha just replied and said, if someone comes to your house and you serve some delicious food and they do not eat it and do not want it, who will have this food? Who will have these fruits and food? It's a silly question. If they don't want it, that will belongs to me. That is so. All those bad words that you have told me, I don't want it. Take it away. Like that. So we need to develop that sort of understanding and being mindful of our senses, that everything that comes to contact with our senses, that arises only for the temporarily. and it changes quickly to one to another. So that's why do not give any permission to it. Do not take it anything on board at all. Just take it, see it, be it. That's it. And that's how you'll be happy. That's why I normally call, no one can make me angry without my permission. Okay? The very moment when I give a permission, then I am angry because I gave a permission, not because them. So think of that, okay? And then use that in your day-to-day life. No one can make me angry without my permission. And another word I normally use, they are not paying any rent to cover, to stay in my brain. They're not paying a rent to stay in my brain. So that's why do I have to take those words into my brain? Just a waste. Fine, thank you, go. So think of a toilet again. Yeah, like that. Right, let's do the walking meditation, okay? So tonight's walking meditation, first we will practice this standing meditation and think of a tree, that you are growing your own tree, okay? And then slightly swinging a little bit. Maybe you can start off swinging, rising this right foot and just swing for a couple of times, and then place your right foot on the ground, and then lifting your left foot, swinging a little bit, and then swinging a little bit, different ways, and feeling that you are grounding, firmly grounding, and then mindfully walking a couple of steps, let's say about 5 to 6 steps in a mindful walk, and in that thinking of right moving, and then knowing this stop before before you lifting the second one. Feel the stop and growing your roots on the ground, okay? And then left moves, place it, feel this grounding, and then the right foot, like that, okay? And we will do a couple of rounds, and then after that I want you to extend from there, is lifting, thinking of this foot lifting, stop, and then placing, lifting, and then placing, okay? So we'll do this 2 steps.